Et le poisson, tout à l'heure, c'était une rascasse, ou c'était un chapeau?
Yeah, chapeau, hein, c'est ça.
All right, so chef, in your presentation you were talking about how you import upwards of 40 species for your restaurant. I'm going to just get your background in here. Talk to me about why that's important. You were saying these are quintessentially Italian fish, so why is this important?
Because if I want to bring the flavors of the Mediterranean to my restaurant, and I do it with different fish, it doesn't taste the same. Whereas if I have the fish from the locale, I can transport my guests to Italy. And the simplicity of the Italian kitchen and the years and thousands of years of history give me the opportunity to do very simple food that's tremendously impactful because of the ingredient. My restaurant is not a chef-driven restaurant. It is an ingredient-driven restaurant. And instead of my doing like fancy alta cucina or haute cuisine, I'm doing very rustic food that's intended and by design to really give you that experience of being dining on the Mediterranean.
Now this goes completely counter to the sustainability movement. How do you deal with that whole issue of it?
Well, I've been asked before, and it really doesn't. Because if you accept Las Vegas as a place on earth, there's nothing local. Not a bed, not a mattress, not a piece of wood, not a piece of brick. It was desert and desert. So if you accept that as a principle, then whatever is there had to get there. So in my case, instead of flying fish from Florida or wherever, I'm flying it from Europe. I'm adding a few hours. If that plane were not flying and I'm flying commercial, I would understand the issue. But in this case, and if the consumers were not buying it, but I'm the second largest grossing restaurant in Las Vegas, and I think there's a reason for that. And it is because we have a unique product. I like to think I handle it correctly and that we do it faithfully, with integrity, but in the end, it's a product-driven restaurant.
Just lastly, tell me what is quintessentially Italian about the fish you use? What is the taste profile that you're looking for?
Quintessential, or why I think my restaurant matters, is because we import all of our fish. Because we go to the table with a fish cart that you can see in this publication. A fish cart to show the guests the fish that I have in my restaurant. That I have upwards of 40 different species. That we cook our fish whole on the bone. That we do tableside service that's something almost of a bygone era, and is now in a contemporary environment. That we redefine fine dining by making it casual, and so it's not stuffy or haughty or too serious, but a restaurant. That my tasting menus are served family style, so when you sit down, you get 6 or 7 antipasti, you get 3 or 4 pastas, and a whole roasted fish, so that you share the conviviality of the table.
Now talk to me about that table, because you also said, and this is last thing, that a modern Italian cuisine would have to start with the rustic tradition.
Well, I believe that in my past, I did very alta cucina, and it was a technical chef who has a formal technical preparation, who went down and found this indigenous food and elevated it to a fine dining level without losing its nature. But as I became older, I became less interested in impressing and more interested in pleasing, and more interested in doing or presenting a menu that I want to eat. Rather than my showing off as a chef, I'm letting my product show off for me, so I'm doing less cooking than I've ever done, and actually I'm really proud of it.
That's great, Chef. Thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you for taking an interest.